Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Andy here. I coach men and women on living lives of abundance and joy. If they can all do it, you sure as hell can too. And someone that really helped me build the sex life that I have right now and a lot of other things was Chris from Good Looking Loser. He used to run this blog, which if you go to now is offline down. And so something that I like to do is go through some of his old articles, react to them, talk about how they changed my life, the mindsets I took away from them, maybe what I would add in and what I would say a little bit differently, because he wrote a lot of these articles 15 years ago at this point. So let's dive into one of my favorite ones, misconceptions about guys that are naturally successful with women. And a lot of the time, a lot of you put this distance between you and guys that you see as like naturally good at getting laid. And you feel like you could never be like them. You're never going to be as good as them. It's so easy for them and it's so hard for you. And make it feel like this big impossible mountain that you have to climb to get to their level. But I want to point out this article, it's one of my favorites, because he explains that a lot of the misconceptions or a lot of the assumptions that you have about guys that get laid a lot are just not true. It's very easy to look at someone who's ahead of you or has a little bit more success than you and assume that they must have their shit together, everything must be perfect, they must never have any insecurities or doubts. And as I have talked about a billion times, I have lots of insecurities, lots of doubts. I do not have my shit together all the time perfectly. I might just be a little bit further along than some of you, but that doesn't mean I'm perfect. And so that gives you a little bit of hope. You don't have to be perfect to achieve the sex life of your dreams or the business of your dreams or lose weight or whatever. It's just focus on making a little bit of progress, show up every day, take some baby steps, and keep moving forward. All right, let's dive into this article, Misconceptions About Players. One of my biggest beefs with the whole pickup artist or seduction community and mainstream, Men's Journal and all of that, is that either intentionally or subconsciously, they totally exaggerate how skilled, smooth, or confident a guy who is naturally successful with women actually is. Yeah. Vulnerable or inexperienced guys are led to believe that they need to become a superhero, like an alpha male or something, in order to be successful with women. And we see certain coaches and people like that, like maybe Andrew Tate, certain influencers who give this impression that you have to have Lamborghinis and tons of money and have your shit together and live this crazy, lavish lifestyle where you're like, fuck the world, it's me against the world. And then somehow that means you'll get a lot of sex. No, you can be a regular, normal guy and just work on improving yourself a tiny bit every day, work on progress, not perfection, go talk to lots of women, and you will have sex. You don't have to be the absolute top pinnacle rich person on the entire planet to have some success. Because what happens when you believe that you have to become this superhero or this alpha male is you start to think, I'll never get to that level and I have so far to go. I've done a video on this video right here called Stop Looking at the Mountain, where I talk about how you look at how far you have left to go, all the things that you want to improve, all the things that you want to work on, as if it's this big mountain ahead of you, and you look up at this mountain and you get overwhelmed. Just focus on taking one step forward, put one foot in front of the other, stop looking at the mountain, stop looking at how far you feel like you have to go. That will stress you out. One day at a time, one step at a time. As Chris goes on to say, guys just need to look better than 80 to 90% of other guys, which by the way is a lot easier than you think. It's just put any amount of effort into your appearance. Like literally just groom yourself, get a decent haircut, buy some clothes that are half decent, lose weight so that you're not morbidly obese, and congratulations, you are better than 80 to 90%, or you look better than 80 to 90% of other guys, especially in 2025. The average BMI in the United States is 29.23, which, by the way, is way, way, way overweight. A normal weight is 18.5 to 25. 25 to 29.9 is considered overweight. So with the average person being 29.23, they are really close to just being considered obese. This is the average. The average man in America is almost obese. And so if you're just not almost obese, then congratulations, you're doing better than most people. And if you throw in something like going to the gym, dressing a little bit better, getting a decent haircut, whitening your teeth if you need to, just putting some amount of effort into your appearance and a little bit of effort or a lot of effort into your self-love and your mindset, holy shit, congratulations, you're already top 5%, top 1%, just by virtue of having tried. And nothing against the average person, nothing against the average guy, but the average guy is not really trying. He's not on a self-improvement channel trying to improve his life. And then if you go and talk to more girls than 80 to 90% of other guys, then congratulations, you're winning. Like, you'll get the sex life that you want. And by the way, the average guy isn't talking to any women at all. So just go talk to one woman a day. If that's too stressful for you, try talking to one woman a week. Just go and say hi to one woman, tell her that you find her pretty or you think she's attractive and you'd like to take her out on a date. Congratulations, you're absolutely a player. Just by trying, you're doing better than the average. So he goes on to say the whole idea of the natural, as in the smooth, natural guy who's just really good with women, is often completely misconstrued as well. Guys are led to believe that a guy that is naturally successful with women innately possesses all sorts of exceptional skills and confidence that he isn't even aware of, but that needs to be analyzed, fully understood, flawlessly practiced, and perfectly executed. No, it's not true at all. I'm defining successful as the ability to take an attractive girl home on any given night, let's say 1 to 2 a week, and sleeping with or having the ability to sleep with 2 or more hot fuck buddies. That was a little bit hard for me to say. So that's pretty successful, by the way. I think a lot of you listening would be like, bro, I'd be happy with just one's friends with benefits or a girlfriend. I'd be happy hooking up with someone once a month. I don't need to have sex with a new person twice a week. So his definition of successful is probably really successful for some of you. He goes on to say, even if your goals are far beyond that, you probably agree that the above definition is applicable and that the majority of guys don't have this going for them. Yes, the majority of guys absolutely cannot go and hit on a woman that they don't know. They can't even say hello to a woman without alcohol. They definitely can't have sex with a new woman even once a month, even once every 2 weeks. Absolutely not. So goes on to say, today and even more so in my lesser successful days, I've had a lot of friends that were successful with women. Some of them are featured in my sense of entitlement discussion and throughout Good Looking Loser, his old website. Few of them have shared their secrets, but most of them had nothing new to offer. Blah, 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 blah. So here we get into the misconceptions or the assumptions that a lot of you have about people that get laid a lot or guys that get laid a lot. Misconception number 1 is that they all go out to cold approach random girls. Yeah, that's a big misconception. Me personally, I don't really approach much in person anymore. I can do it if I want to, but why do I want to? I have Tinder, I have Hinge, I have Bumble. I get more than enough matches on there, and at this point in time, at this point in my life, I'm focused more on my relationship with Imi and Bronwyn, the girl that we've been dating for about 2.5 years. And if I want to have more sex on top of that, I just go on a dating app. I don't need to go out and cold approach. Not every guy needs to cold approach. It's a beautiful thing to do. If you want to do it, go and do it. But it's certainly not necessary. It's not mandatory. And I think a lot of you hold it almost as a point of like beating yourself up if you can't go outside and hit on women. Like you hate yourself for it. You're like, oh, I'm a pussy, blah, blah, blah. Plenty of my coaching clients don't go outside and hit on women. They only go on the dating apps. They build an amazing sex life for themselves, or they get a girlfriend, or they build a marriage, or whatever it is that they want. You don't have to approach. All of that said, going outside and approaching absolutely changes your life for the positive. You will learn so many skills, blah, blah, blah. It's such a beautiful thing. If you want to go and approach, do it. But not every guy that gets laid a lot does it. And that was kind of the point that Good Looking Loser was making here. A lot of my friends laughed at me, mostly behind my back, when I got really involved in the pickup thing back in 2006. They thought it was stupid and that I didn't need it. I dismissed their criticism as jealousy, but to a degree, they were right. The idea of going out on a Sarge, these are words that don't really get used much anymore, Sarge or mission to do sets with openers and routines, with the sole purpose of number closing, sounded pathetic to them. In hindsight, I totally get it. Meeting women should be part of an overall lifestyle. Being a player is something that you are, not something that you do, and certainly not something that you dress up for on an intermittent basis. And I kind of have that same sort of philosophy in my content. I say, make these things, as in approaching women or whatever your goal is, make it something that's very easy for you to do, so you'll do it every day. So you become that person. You're just the guy that goes outside and says hi to girls whenever he sees them. You're just the guy that works on your business for a couple of hours a day, and then you go to your normal job, then you come home and you work on the business a bit more. Like, just be that person rather than needing a lot of willpower and motivation and getting like fired up and all of that, because motivation and willpower are fleeting. But if you take a little baby step every single day, you can keep that up. It's easy to be consistent if you just do a little bit each day, or at least a little bit each day. But if you go out there and say, I'm going to talk to fucking 50 women today, and then I'm not going to talk to any for the next 2 weeks, that up and down, like, it's just not going to get you the results that you want. So he goes on to say, these guys, like myself at certain times in certain cities, have a lot of friends, especially attractive, popular girls who are their friends. These girls simply tell them which girls think they are hot and which girls are single and interested. They also have cool guys as friends who give them leads as well, in return for the same, and an understood, non-competition bros before hoes silent agreement, although that is routinely broken. When they do hit the bars and clubs, they are going with a group they pre-partied with and usually meeting up with a group of girls. They aren't going out alone. The big group eventually mingles with other groups, and sexually available girls begin to reveal themselves as they consume more and more alcohol. Blah, 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 blah. So he goes on to basically explain this is how a lot of his friends hook up. They just hook up through party scenes or through social circle or through friends or whatever else. They aren't necessarily walking up to complete strangers on the street during the daytime and hitting on them. And so again, do whatever you want to do. If you want to go outside and hit on women during the daytime, absolutely, it can be the most amazing, beautiful experience of your life. It can be incredible. It's so beautiful to meet a woman that you didn't know 5 minutes ago, and now she's laughing with you, giggling, you have her phone number, you're setting up a date. That's an amazing experience. And to be in bed with someone, or even just sitting on a date with someone where you made it happen. You didn't even know her, she didn't know you, and now you guys are on a date or in bed because you were ballsy enough to go and hit on her. That's a beautiful experience. All of that said, there are so many other ways to meet women and to have sex. It doesn't have to be that. And again, I see a lot of guys that sort of beat themselves up for not being able to approach during the daytime. And if it's something you want to do, go and freaking do it. But you don't have to beat yourself up just because you're not doing that. There are many, many, many ways to meet women. This is just one of them. And again, not every guy that gets laid a lot goes out and hits on tons of women that they don't know. As he said, some guys don't do any significant approaching and always have one or two girls that they are sleeping with. I'm a really good example of this. Another guy that I follow, Caleb Jones, is a really good example of this as well. He basically only does online dating, and I basically only do online dating and meeting people, I guess, through Imogen as well. Like, she will find women for us to date and sleep with together. So you don't have to be out there approaching all the time. Another misconception about guys that get laid a lot is that they are all good at approaching random girls. No, some of them fucking suck at it. Not only are successful guys not setting aside an 8-hour block of time to Sarge on a mission with their lair buddies because they have a life to live. You know, at some point, you start working more on your sex life being a bit more efficient rather than going out there for 8 hours a day approaching women. And at the start, that's really fun. It's really fun to walk around for hours and hours and hours and hit on women. Like, it's such a beautiful experience. But the point of this article is to sort of break through some of those misconceptions that you might have about guys that are maybe a little bit more advanced or a little bit more happy with their sex life. Usually they find a way to make this shit really efficient. Like me, Imogen finds girls for us to sleep with together. At this point, I'm sleeping with her and Bronwyn, the girl that we've been seeing for a couple of years. So that's what a lot of guys do. They eventually find a girlfriend, or in my case, I guess 2 girlfriends, and they find someone that they can build a sex life with. So you don't have to be going out there approaching all the time, constantly. But at the start, it can be really fun, obviously. So most of them aren't particularly good at cold approaching random girls. The best ones are, but I'm speaking about the norm. And this bit is the really interesting bit. Most have what we would call approach anxiety, and they self-medicate with alcohol. I have made this point so many times. A lot of you think that you're a complete pussy because you have some approach anxiety. No, that just makes you normal. Most human beings are nervous to talk to a stranger they don't know, including the guys that get laid a lot. The anxiety doesn't necessarily go away. It's just that you stop caring as much. You stop believing in it. You feel the anxiety, and then you go talk to her anyway. Or like he's saying here in this article, a lot of guys feel the anxiety, have a couple of beers, and then they go talk to her. Like, the anxiety makes you normal. You're not a pussy because you have anxiety. You're a human being. So it goes on to say, if you smoke a lot of weed, it seems to be a performance enhancer for them, unlike for me. As part of an overall social lifestyle, blah, 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 they simply do what I call basic guy game, or what the seduction community dorks call AFC game. Don't worry about all the terminology. Basically, what he's saying here with all of this is they do pretty much what we talk about on this channel. They give a girl a compliment or they start a conversation about something, make small talk, and then they say, do you want to go for a drink, or do you want to go to dinner, or do you want to get a coffee? That's it. They're not doing anything fancy. They just walk up and they're like, hey, you're pretty. What's up? Like, I'm Andy. What are you up to? And then they talk for a bit. And then he's like, hey, yo, are you single? I'd love to take you out for a drink sometime. She goes, yes, cool. I'll get your phone number. And then he texts her, yo, hey, when are we going to grab that drink? Do you want to meet on Friday? Do you want to meet on the weekend? Like, when are you free? And then they just meet up. They have sex. That's it. There's no fancy game necessary. There's no mandatory fucking pickup lines or smooth moves or good text game or sick fucking game or any of that. It's just, I like you. Do you like me? Do you want to go on a date? On the date, do you want to have sex? That's it. It's not fancy. It doesn't need to be. He goes on to say, as a side note, one of my friends has slept with over 100 girls and 98% of them from online dating. Yeah, that would be me. Like, I'm exactly in that same boat. It's like the vast majority of people that I've slept with is online dating. Like the vast majority. It would be like 99% of the people that I've slept with. Most guys that are naturally successful with women don't actually have super game, like I said before. They are sloppy, aggressive, but not smooth. I wouldn't say to be aggressive, but I would say to be assertive. Like, just be honest, be upfront, say what you want. Hey, I find you really fucking sexy. Are you single? Yo, you're so attractive. I'd love to talk to you. Are you single? Yo, hey, you're so pretty. Can I kiss you? Yo, hey, I'd love to take you out on a date. Can I get your phone number? Hey, I'm having fun. Do you want to go back to my place? We can make out. We can fool around. We can have sex if we want to. Like, what do you want to do? Like, just be fucking upfront. You can say it smoother than that if you want to. You can flirt if you want to. Do whatever you want to do. But the point of this article is to show you that you probably have these misconceptions of guys that get laid a lot. You assume that they're really fucking smooth, or they're so fucking charismatic, or they're perfectly flirty. Probably not. Some of them might be. Some of them won't be. You really don't need to be. Misconception number 3 about guys that get laid a lot and are naturals is that they know what game is. He goes on to say, besides Scotty and one other guy, my most successful friends don't really know what game is. Most think that talking about it in depth is geek shit. I kind of feel the same way. I try not to be maybe that judgmental, although sometimes I feel that creeping in. But yeah, to me, like, game is just something that I'm not really interested in, so I don't really talk about it on this channel. We do talk about your inner mindset. We talk about, maybe what you want to say and ways to say it, but we don't go deep on that shit. We don't go deep on the pickup lines and all of that. It's just be honest, say whatever you want to fucking say whatever's in your heart, just tell the truth. Like, the truth shall set you free. That's always going to be the best pickup line that you could ever have, is to just tell the truth and say what you want. And find the women who want the same thing. The ones who don't, brilliant. Move on, go be honest with the next woman and see if she's down. He goes on to say, most of these guys consider game to be the ability to make small talk, the ability to make a girl laugh, the ability to be smooth, the ability to say the right thing. And by the way, there is no fucking right thing. The ability to make girls like you, confidence. They're all familiar with the idea of manning up and pulling the trigger. So of course the concept isn't entirely foreign to them. Most of them feel that pulling the trigger is quite easy. It's the initial part of walking up to the girl that's the hardest part. Yeah, that's where the anxiety comes up. All of them get good with girls once they know the girl likes them. From there, most of them play to win rather than not to lose. That's why they get laid a lot. Interesting that he said play to win rather than not to lose. I didn't realize he said that. That's cool. Maybe I subconsciously stole my play to win video course idea from him. But yeah, focusing on playing to win rather than going, oh, I hope she doesn't reject me. Oh, I hope I don't fuck this up. Just going, all right, what do I want? That's playing to win. Here's what I want. Do you want the same thing? That's playing to win. Being honest and upfront is playing to win. Most guys that are naturally successful with women can't really pinpoint game or understand female psychology. They just go for it. In other words, they just tell the truth. They're like, yo, I find you sexy. I want you. It's clumsy sometimes. It's awkward. Sometimes there's an awkward silence. Sometimes she doesn't reciprocate. Who gives a fuck? At least I tried. At least I made the move. I told her I like her. I asked her out on a date. She said no. Sweet. I'm going to go talk to more people. And pretty similar to that last one, the misconception number 4 is that guys that get laid a lot have flashy, spectacular game. But he goes on to say, as mentioned, by and large, these guys do basic game. Another term for it is just talking to people. I have said that 10 billion times, and I got the idea obviously from Chris, from Good Looking Loser, and from just going out and talking to people. Women are just human beings with a pussy. Radical notion, but they are not that different from men. You can say there are more similarities between men and women compared to differences. And all you are doing when you walk up to them is talking to them like a person, like a human being. It's just two human beings talking to each other, and you say, I like you, or I find you attractive. Do you want to go on a date? And we can talk some more. And then when you go to have sex, you just talk to her. Would you like to come back to my place? When you actually start to have sex, you say, yo, you're so fucking hot. I want to fuck you. You're just talking. All you're doing is talking. And you can throw in some flirting there if you want to. You can be smooth. You can fucking wink. You can do whatever shit you want to do. Do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, this is just communicating with another person. It's not that complicated. A lot of the time, you guys think, I have to go and hit on that girl. I have to make a move. I have to escalate. And all of these words, all of this jargon starts to get you in your own head. But it's so much easier to just think, there's a cute girl. I'm going to go and say hi. I don't need to hit on her. I don't need to approach. All of that stresses me out. I'm just going to go say hi. Doesn't that take so much of the pressure off if you know I'm just going over there to say hi? That's so much easier than I have to hit on her and do a good job. There is no such thing as a good job. You're just saying hi to another person. It's really not that complicated. So it goes on to say some of them have different techniques, such as winking at a girl, showing a girl his dance moves, cute, or asking the girl to buy them a drink. They can make small talk and flirt fairly well. Most of them understand the power of sending mixed messages. I wouldn't do that shit ever. A few of them simply lie their asses off. I definitely wouldn't do that either. A lot of them know alcohol is the quickest way into a girl's pants. I definitely don't recommend that. For them, however, they don't consider it all that necessary and are plenty satisfied with their own approach to meeting women, as in they don't think that they need a ton of game or smooth pickup lines or any of that. Although most of these guys have slept with more girls than most guys would in 7 lifetimes, if they ever did in-field videos, like videoed them talking to girls, I guess, hordes of pickup geeks would say they sucked with women and had no game for their lack of creativity and insistence on normal conversation. Yeah, I've had that a few times when I go on someone else's live stream. Someone in the chat will be like, this guy has no game. Like, I've checked out his channel. He's got no game. It's like, yeah, because I'm too busy having sex. I'm too busy sticking my penis in vaginas and building a relationship with my girlfriend Imogen of 7 years and being with Bronwyn for 2.5 years and having freaking threesomes and orgies and BDSM and kink and doing photo shoots and videos of the whole thing and coaching other men on doing the same thing. I'm too busy fucking doing the thing that you say that you want. And I wrote an article about this. And this is over on my blog on killyourinnerloser.com. Just search for the word pickup artist, and it's called Most Pickup Artists Are Theatrical Wizards Who Don't Actually Want to Get Laid. And I talk about how maybe most, or at least a lot, of pickup artists and guys that follow that kind of content are more obsessed with like techniques and what's the perfect pickup line and all of that, rather than I would like to have my penis inside a vagina, or I would like to meet a woman and build a relationship. They're so focused on, as I say here, wizardry for wizardry's sake. They're focused on impressing each other more than impressing. I mean, I guess you don't want to impress you don't sit there and impress a girl, but like they're more obsessed with impressing each other than going and having sex. They're literally trying to remember the lines and the jargon and all of that and say that to each other almost like a dog whistle of like, look, I said the right line. I know all the terminology. Look, was my game good? Was I an alpha male? Did I do a good job? And they're wanting sort of a pat on the back. And that's okay. A lot of people get caught up in that. But the whole point of this article is to basically say, be very honest about what it is that you want. Like, are you more interested in the game of picking up women or fucking women? And if you're more interested in the game, then great, just at least be honest with that. And don't assume that everyone else is interested in that too, because most of the people just want to come here and have sex. Most of you watching just want to have sex, or you want to build a relationship, or you want to find a nice woman to settle down with. You're not looking to just fucking learn game. You see game, if it does exist or if it is mandatory at all, you see it solely as like a means to an end. And that's most people. Most guys are fucking normal, and they don't want to sit there and learn all of this like essentially psychological manipulation on another human being. They just want to be able to walk up to a woman relatively confidently, even if they're nervous, and say, hi, I like you. Do you want to go on a date? And some of those women say yes, and then they have sex or they build a relationship. That's what most of you want. So most pickup artists are theatrical wizards who aren't necessarily focused on having sex and getting laid. And so, yeah, the point that I was making is I've sometimes gone on other live streams and guys are like, he has no fucking game. And it's like, yeah, because I'm busy having sex. If you want me to have game, I could fake it for you, but like, I'm just not that interested. Maybe you could phrase it like this. I have game in the bedroom, and maybe some of you want to do the same thing. Have game in the bedroom. Like, have great foreplay skills, have great sex skills, learn some BDSM, learn some kink, learn all of that shit. Learn how to flirt, learn how to talk dirty. Learn how to make her beg, learn how to edge, learn how to blow her fucking mind and give her like 30 orgasms in a session. Learn that game. I'd rather learn that than like the steps before that. All right, misconception number 5 about guys that are natural with women. They never put women on a pedestal. Yeah, this sort of ties into what I said before. A lot of you have this assumption that if a guy is getting laid a lot, he must really have his shit together. He must be super confident, super masculine, blah, blah, blah. Never puts women on a pedestal, never gets emotional, never gets down, never gets bothered by anything. He must be perfect in every way. And it's like, no, I'm the first person to tell you I'm not perfect. I think I make that pretty fucking clear. And if I can have this sex life and this business and all of this shit, you definitely can too. If I can do this stuff, you can. You really don't need your shit together. One rule that permeates throughout the seduction community and even mainstream dating, I would just say most people believe this. Never under any circumstances put a woman on a pedestal, and lots of women believe the same thing. You can't ever like show a man that you like him too much because then he'll fucking think you're weird and needy and clingy. It's like heaven forbid you make another human being feel good about themselves. But these guys, the guys that get laid a lot that he knows, break this rule time and time again. Not only do they break this rule, but some of them even put every single woman on a pedestal. And I wouldn't do that. I would obviously put yourself first and love yourself, and then someone else adds to that. But the point that he's making is these guys don't necessarily all have their shit together. In fact, in any given night, the ones that do their version of cold approach basically tell every single girl they're interested in that she is beautiful or gorgeous. Since they come off as cool guys, often with the help of their crew, a lot of girls are really receptive to their exaggerated compliments and become legitimately jealous when they think they see them telling other girls the same thing. By the end of the night, the interested girls reveal themselves, and they'll ask the hottest, best candidate to come to the after party. Truth be told, given exaggerated, not overly genuine compliments to multiple women might not be putting them on a pedestal, blah, 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 but it's just their version of game. I want to dispel the notion that you can't just walk around a room telling girls they are hot and not have any girls that are interested. That is the furthest thing from the truth if you have above average sex appeal. And most of you get it. You know, we talk a lot on this channel about being honest. If you find a woman attractive, walk up and say, I find you attractive. If you think she's just the most stunning woman you've ever seen in your life, literally say, holy shit, I think you're the most stunning woman I've ever seen in my life. Why would you hold back? Why lie? Just tell the fucking truth. She either likes you or she doesn't. If she doesn't like you, cool. Move on and talk to the next woman. A lot of guys, you know, less so you in the audience, but a lot of guys I've heard will say you shouldn't give a woman a compliment. You shouldn't tell her that she's pretty. You know, all these women have overinflated egos. Women need to be taken down a peg. And again, my answer to that is heaven forbid you make another human being feel good about themselves. All right, misconception number 6 is that they are Zen masters, always in control of their emotions and feelings. Yes, I make this very clear. You really don't have to have your shit perfectly together in order to build an amazing sex life or a business or a love life or any of that. What we focus on here is progress, not perfection. So it goes on to say, from the birth of the seduction community, ideas like Zen and Qi and blah, blah, blah have been suggested as absolute necessities to help guys control their emotions, ward off rejection, deal with shit tests, and hostility from the opposite sex. Yeah, there's big pushes in men's self-improvement communities that you have to be a perfect stoic, like alpha male. And yes, we talk about stoicism. Yeah, no shit, being more peaceful and loving and doing some yoga if you want to, and all of that helps a hell of a lot. I think I make that point pretty clear. But you don't have to be perfect with that. Don't think that you have to be perfectly stoic, perfectly masculine, perfectly self-loving, perfectly confident in order to have some sex. No, you really don't. Yes, work on that stuff, but work on it while you're going out there and talking to women. Don't wait. I see a lot of people that say, when I'm perfect or when I'm further along, then I'll go and talk to women. You know, when I've lost some weight, I'll go talk to women. Or when I've hit the gym for a year, then I'll go hit on women. When I've worked on my mindset and I'm a perfect fucking Buddhist monk, then I'll go hit on women. No, don't procrastinate. You're just procrastinating because you're scared, and that's okay. But go talk to women while you work on those things. Because what you'll find is you'll already have some success. You're already good enough to meet some women. And if you just go out there and talk to them, some of them will fucking love you. It's just that you haven't been putting yourself out there out of this weird fear of like, I have to make sure I'm further along before I go and do the thing. No, stop procrastinating. Go off or get off this internet, get off the phone, get off whatever you're on, go outside and hit on some women right now. Literally, pause the fucking video, go talk to one woman, leave a comment down below and say that you did it. If you can't talk to one woman, go outside for 5 minutes, walk around thinking about talking to some of the women that you see. You don't have to hit on them, but just walk past them and say, what would it be like if I said hi? Then come back, drop a comment down below, and then keep watching the video. So he goes on to say all of these guys, as in the guys he knows that get laid a lot, can lose control and start yelling at people that piss them off. All of these guys at some point or another get emotionally attached to women. All of these guys have sent mean or attention seeking or desperate looking texts and messages to women. Some are drama queens, and probably some are drama queens by my definition, and probably yours too. Most of these guys would be quick to put a girl in her place if she was rude to them. Most of these guys have been kicked out of bars or clubs for escalating fights. All of these guys get laid significantly more than anyone in the pickup world that I know, with the exception of Scotty and two others. And so, to be very clear, I don't think he's encouraging you to be mean or attention seeking or yell at people or any of that, but he's just trying to point out that you have this idea that people that are further along than you must be sitting on some cloud of like wisdom and knowledge and they're just perfect. No, they're human beings like you. They probably just know some stuff that you don't know. They're probably a little bit more experienced and confident than you, but they're a human being like you. We do the same thing with money, don't we? So many people will look at someone who's rich or a celebrity, or you'll look at like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or whatever, and you have this like subconscious assumption that they're better than you because they're richer than you, they're more powerful than you, and you forget that they're a human being. I mean, this is pretty relevant timing with all of the drama and controversy around Elon Musk cheating in a video game. So many people are shocked that Elon Musk is an insecure, needy, normal human being who's trying to brag on the internet and get some brownie points and some credit and be like, look how good I am at a video game. That shows you that he's just like you. Same with celebrities when they have breakdowns and drug addictions, and people will go, why is this person depressed? They have money. Because they're a human being and money doesn't just solve depression. Or this guy gets laid a lot. Or here's the extreme version of it that you see with like identity politics in America especially. This guy is white. He's a white male. He's a white cis male. Therefore, he shouldn't have any problems, and any problems or suffering that he's feeling, I don't give a fuck. You're a white male. Shut the fuck up. And it's like, being a white male doesn't mean I'm not a human being. That doesn't mean I don't suffer sometimes. That doesn't mean I don't have insecurities or fears or doubts or loneliness or any of these emotions. What the fuck? And so we often dehumanize other people without meaning to. And so some of you might be doing the same thing. You might look at me or someone else that you follow that gets laid a lot and you go, holy shit, this guy must, I don't know, be perfectly happy all the time or be better than me, or I can't get to his level. And I make it really clear. I'm just a normal fucking human being. I'm just a little bit further along in my sex life and my business life and maybe my peace and love and all of that. I'm just further along. I'm not better than you. I just started this shit earlier than you. So if I can do it, just copy what I did or find your own path. But just do the same sort of shit and you'll get to the same place. It doesn't mean that someone's better than you because they're ahead of you. It just means that they started earlier than you. So he finishes up by saying most guys that are naturally successful with women aren't fully in control of their emotions. Some can be drama queens. Yeah, who would have thought? Just because you get laid doesn't mean that you have your entire life together and that you're perfectly happy all the time. Just like being super mega rich or famous doesn't mean that every area of your life is handled and you never have any problems and you're perfect. Everyone is a fucking human being and everyone is just trying to do their best, including and maybe especially you. All right, let's blast through the last couple, otherwise we'll be here forever. Misconception number 7 is that guys are successful with women have no social anxiety. Absolutely not fucking true. Yeah, there's this big idea that just because you have a lot of sex or you've made a lot of money, that must mean you feel no fear, no doubt, no insecurity, no anxiety. And then what you do with that is you, as the listener, go, like with that assumption, you go, well, this person that I'm watching who's more famous than me or has more sex than me or makes more money, they must have their life together. And the fact that I don't means that I'm not as good as them. There must be something wrong with me. I'm a fucking loser. I'm a train wreck. I can never do what they've done. And all of that is based on an assumption. You never asked the person. Like, did you say to them, have you ever had anxiety in the last couple of weeks? And they'll be like, yeah, of course. What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm stressed about the bills, or I'm stressed about this, or I'm upset about this, or I had a fight with my boyfriend, or this. And you'll hear all of that and you'll go, yeah, but that doesn't really count. They're not as insecure as me. And you other yourself, like you make yourself the other. You're the special train wreck that's really shit at everything, and they have their shit together. And then you feel really lonely. You feel like you can't do what they've done. You feel all alone. So the misconception here, obviously, is not true. He goes on to say, just 3 weeks ago, one of the most successful guys I know, Sean, was freaking out so much when he was in New York City that he literally called me to comfort him. If you would have heard our phone call, you would think that the guy hadn't slept with a woman in 2 years, but quite the opposite. He had 2 girls dropping by his hotel and fucking him at the same time. And so this really, really, really points out the fact that just because someone is having a lot of sex or makes a lot of money doesn't mean that their life is perfect. And now we can really play around with this and apply this to women. So many of you look at women and you say this statement, ready? You go, it's so easy for women. It's so hard for men. It's not fair. Women have an easy life. It's so easy for them to find a boyfriend or to hook up or to get attention and validation and all of that. It's so hard for me as a lonely male. It's not fair. Could it be even remotely possible that you're doing the same thing as this assumption here, as this misunderstanding, this misconception, that you're assuming every woman just has her life together, never has a breakdown, never has any emotions, never has any struggles or pain or loneliness or any of that, never has any insecurities or doubts? Are you making that assumption? And could it be possible that that's not true? I'm telling you right now, it's not fucking true. Talk to some women and you'll find that out in fucking 5 seconds. But a lot of us make these big assumptions, or a lot of you make these big assumptions that women have it so easy. They're better than me. They get all this attention. I'm competing with hundreds of men. It's not fair. I'm never going to make it. It's so hard for me. The reality of that woman's life might be very different, but you haven't taken the time to ask. So there you go. There's a fun challenge. Go ask a bunch of women. Go up to the women on the street and say, what is your life like? Do you ever have doubts or insecurities? They'll laugh and be like, what are you talking about? I'm insecure all the time. And you go, but you're hot. And she'll laugh at you and be like, well, thanks. But like, what? How does being hot mean I don't have doubts about myself? Hotness is just one part of me. What the fuck? Like, you think that's all I am? Just a hot woman? Like, what the fuck? There's more to me than that. I have hopes, I have dreams, I have doubts, I have insecurities. So you would find all of that out by talking. But the point that he's making here, same thing applies to guys that are really successful in business or sex or whatever. It doesn't mean they don't have nervousness or anxiety. And then further on this, misconception number 8 is that guys who are successful with women have no sexual anxiety, as in like performance anxiety, erectile dysfunction, nervousness in the bedroom, insecurity in their bodies, blah, blah, blah. That is obviously not true. Just because you're having a lot of sex doesn't mean you have no anxiety. I've talked about this a lot. It applies to women. A lot of you will look at a really attractive or hot woman and be like, she must have no doubts about herself and she must know she's hot. No, a lot of the hottest women are the most insecure because people constantly tell them that they're hot, that they're attractive and all of that. And so they build that up and they go, holy shit, what if one day I'm not attractive? Or I have a pimple, what do I fucking do? I'm having a bad hair day. One eyebrow was out of place. And what will also happen is because most people focus on that hot woman's attractiveness, just like a lot of you do, and they obsess about it, what does that make a lot of people feel? Jealous and insecure. And what do people do when they're jealous or insecure? They often attack. And so the hottest women are also the most attacked women. It's not I'll say this in a nice way, unattractive women who get the most hate. It's the most attractive women who get the most hate. Just like it's the richest people who get the most criticism and the most famous people who get the most criticism, just because most people are looking at them, and a lot of those people will feel jealous and insecure or vengeful or hateful. And so a lot of hot women are the most insecure women that you'll ever meet. I have met quite a lot of women that have what I call like ugly duckling syndrome, where they think they're an ugly duckling. They don't realize that they've grown up into a beautiful swan, and they are the most incredibly attractive hot woman. And you're like, but you know that you're hot, right? I've literally had this conversation with some women where I'm like, you get that you're really fucking hot, right? Like you see guys turning their heads and looking at you when you're out in public, right? And they're like, yeah, but like, I don't really know if I'm hot. Like I know some people think I'm hot, but then other people tell me I'm ugly and that I'm a bitch and all of this. And I don't know which one I am. And you're like, really? You can't tell that you're hot? I mean, like, look, you have like 100,000 followers on Instagram that are just frothing at the mouth to be with you. You can't tell that you're sexy? And she's like, well, I don't know. Like, because sometimes some of those people will tell me that I'm hot, and then other ones will tell me that I should kill myself and that I'm a slut and a thought and all of that. And so, like, I don't know which one I am. And so the same thing with guys. Just because a guy is getting laid a lot doesn't mean that he's super confident and has no anxiety in the bedroom or outside of the bedroom or no body insecurities or no doubts. He's just a human being, a normal person, just like you. And a point that he makes here is most guys that are naturally successful with women have some sexual anxiety, particularly with a new partner. I feel a little bit of nervousness when I'm with a new partner. And at this point, it's been, I don't know, a couple of hundred women or something. And if I meet a new woman before the date, I feel butterflies. I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm anxious. I just don't see it as a bad thing. I'm excited to be anxious. It's like, oh, look, I'm nervous. That means I somewhat care about this person. I somewhat care about meeting them. I want to have sex with them. I want to have a good experience. That's cool. I don't see the anxiety as a bad thing. But the point here is I'm anxious a lot of the time. I was a tiny bit anxious or nervous, I guess you would say, before I sat down to record this video this morning. Like, I've done at this point 900 videos on this channel, like 500 Spotify podcasts. I've written like another 500 articles. I've sent like another 400 emails, which are basically articles, to my email newsletter list. I've done like, what is that, like 2,000 bits of content. I still sometimes feel nervous. I just don't care. I don't see it as a bad thing. I'm like, cool, this body is nervous. Great. What else is new? I'm nervous all the time. I don't give a shit. I'm insecure a lot of the time. I don't care. I don't attach to the insecurity and see it as a bad thing. I just notice the insecurity or the nervousness and I go, cool, I'm nervous. Like I'm almost not paying attention to it. And you'll find the same of celebrities and performers and people like that. If you listen to what they say, like Eminem and Justin Bieber have both talked about this. They say, every time I get on stage, yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but I just don't care. Like I've done this so many hundreds of times. Why would I care that I'm nervous? I'm not paying it any attention. I'm thinking about how to give a good show. I'm thinking about the audience. I'm thinking about the songs I'm going to sing. I'm thinking about my mindset and being happy. Like I'm thinking about what I had for breakfast or what I'm going to eat after the concert. Like I'm not thinking about the nervousness because it's boring by this point. And so the same thing, getting your sex life in order, building a sex life doesn't necessarily mean you never feel any anxiety ever again. It just means you don't give a shit because you felt it so many times. Same with like your dick not working. Do you know how many hundreds of times my dick hasn't worked? Like literally straight up erectile dysfunction. I just don't give a fuck because I'm like, great, I'll use my tongue. I'll use my fingers. We'll use toys. I'll tie you up. We'll do other shit. We'll cuddle. We'll make out. We'll have a good time. I'll literally just say that to them. I'll say, hey, my dick's not working. I guess I'm tired or stressed or whatever. Let's make out. Let's fool around. We'll use some toys. I'll make you feel good. I'll tie you up. We'll have fun. If anything, girls fucking love that shit because it means I'm focusing more on them. I'm literally saying I'm going to spend the next hour or two giving you foreplay, like giving you mind-blowing foreplay, giving you orgasms. What woman doesn't like that shit? So if anything, it can be a good thing. He goes on to say, misconception number 9, guys that are successful with women are always well-rounded. And essentially what he's saying here is the misconception that a lot of you have is if a guy gets laid a lot, he must have his entire life together. The same as if a guy makes a lot of money and he's the richest person on the planet, his whole life must be perfect. Like he must have his shit together. It's like, no, you really don't need to have your shit together just to have a lot of sex. As he goes on to say, the guys that he knows that get laid a lot just look good and talk to girls. And by looking good, he just means improve your appearance. You don't have to be naturally good looking, but like improve your hair, improve your, like whiten your teeth, dress better, lose some weight, maybe hit the gym for a little bit, work on yourself, like put some effort in. But again, to really drill this in, the average BMI in the United States is 29.23, which is basically obese, borderline obese, so unbelievably close to obese. So just don't be obese. And congratulations, you look good. Literally just don't be obese. That is where the bar is these days. So don't be obese. Maybe hit the gym as well if you want to. And then holy crap, now you're a god. Put some effort in and you will be good looking. He goes on to say some of these guys that he knows have very little ambition and simply live paycheck to paycheck with a sizable portion of their money spent on cocaine, cocktails, and cab rides. I am not saying this is an example of what you should be. I'm saying that you don't need to be well-rounded. You just need to look good or improve your appearance and talk to girls in that order. Yeah, those are my 3 principles for success. I talk about this all the time. All the goals I've ever achieved, everything I've ever done has just been 3 basic steps. Number 1, give myself permission to suck. Number 2, take 1 little baby step towards my goals every day. Number 3, keep going and don't quit. So just focus on your self-improvement and keep going. That's it. That's how you get a lot of sex. Or make a lot of money or anything else that you need. You really don't have to have your shit together perfectly. A lot of you are putting all of these extra steps in. You're saying, I have to go to the gym for 2 years and be like 12% body fat and look like a god. And then I have to get super rich and have a Lamborghini and do all of this shit. Then I have to really, really, really work on my mindset, my self-confidence and be perfectly masculine all the time. And I can never be a pussy and I can never cry and I can never be sad and I can never have emotions. And then I'll get laid. And it's like, what the shit? All of that is just a bunch of stuff that you made up. None of that's mandatory. If you want to do that stuff, do it. That sounds beautiful. All of that sounds incredibly fun. Yes, working on your self-love and your mindset will absolutely help you have more sex and more intimate, passionate, beautiful sex. Having a Lamborghini, yeah, probably lots of women like that. No shit. Having an amazing body, yeah, of course that helps. But none of that is mandatory. Do it because you want to do it, or maybe a better way of saying that would be do it while you go out there and hit on some women. You can build a sex life when you're not perfect. That is the main takeaway of this article. As he says here, my advice is just be above average. That's all you need. And again, I just showed you the average is obese. So just like don't be obese. It's funny how much this has changed. Like this advice, because he wrote this back in like 2010 or something originally, 2008, and then he updated it in 2014. So this is like at least 10 years old, if not like 15 years old. Back then, yeah, there was a lot of obesity, but like maybe not to the extent it is today. We were building up to that. We were just doing some feederism to get obese. But yeah, now above average is just don't be obese, dress decently. Like look at me. I am the definition of like slightly above average. Like, I'm not some fucking god. I still have a little bit of chubbiness. I'm not fucking perfectly underweight or perfectly abs. Like, just be slightly above average and you'll get sex. Like, it's really not hard. It's just, and I would also add in here, be above average in terms of honesty. And he kind of says that, you know, like talk to girls. And he was a big king or a big proponent of like being honest and just saying like, yo, you're sexy. Like, just fucking saying what you want. And so if you're above average in your honesty, you stand out from like 99% of guys on dating apps or 99% of men walking around outside. Any of you women listening too, if you're just honest, holy shit, you stand out from like all of the other women who would just waste time and manipulate and all of that bullshit. Like so many guys and girls out there wasting each other's time when they could just be honest and be like, yo, I like you. I want to have sex with you. Do you like that? Do you want to go on a date? Like you could just be fucking honest and upfront. And so being the bare minimum of honesty, bare minimum of not being obese, the bare minimum of just like, I don't know, putting some effort into your clothes, holy shit, you'll be more than above average. Like, it's really not that hard, guys. I make this fucking clear all the time. It's really not that hard. Just like try, and you'll already be top 10% by just trying, and then try for a little bit longer, like try for 6 months, and now you'll be top 5% immediately. And then if you go outside and decide to hit on women in person, then congratulations, you're like top 0.1%, because basically no men go out there and do that. Like, just go outside and hit on some women and they will think you are some sort of god, and some of them will tell you that. My coaching clients regularly hear that from women. They're like, wow, guys don't do this anymore. This is amazing. I can't believe you're doing this. I have a boyfriend, but like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this. Or I don't have a boyfriend. Oh my God, yes, I want to go on a date with you. This doesn't happen. This is like the movies. I had a coaching client who recently had a girl tell him, this is like the movies. This is like Disney. And it's like, that's so cute. I just came up to hit on you. Like, I guess it is the movies if you're the girl and you haven't really been hit on in such a long time in person properly. Like, guys will hit on girls clumsily. Like, they'll talk about shit they don't care about. They won't just say, I find you attractive. Are you single? I find you sexy. I'm Andy. What's up? Like most guys aren't direct. So they'll talk to a girl, but it's like friendly conversation. Like, hi, like, how's it going? Like, and then they don't ever hit on her. They don't ask for a phone number. I don't count that as hitting on someone. You're not hitting on someone until you say, I would like to take you out for a date. That is hitting on someone. And misconception number 10, I hinted at this before, but there's a misconception or an assumption that guys that have a lot of sex must be secure with their looks and happy in their bodies and, you know, all of that. No, I think I made that point pretty clear. No, lots of them are very insecure. Lots of women who are ridiculously hot are also ridiculously insecure. That just makes them a human being. As I said before, okay, this is exactly what I said before. He's saying this towards men, but it also applies towards women. So any hot women that you see, or any guys that are really attractive or natural with women, because they really value their appearance, it is also one of their biggest insecurities or fears or anxieties. Am I bloated from this protein shake? How does my chin look? Is this a pimple? Does this shirt make me look small? Or in girls' cases, does this dress make me look fat? Is my hair falling out? Are my wrists too thin today? Do I need a tan? Should I wear black socks with these jeans? Yeah. People who care the most about their appearance are also some of the most insecure men and women. And he goes on to say all they do is they look good or they improve their appearance and they talk to girls. He does add kind of the caveat of most guys that are naturally successful with women aren't totally secure with their appearance, but they are a little bit more secure than the average guy. And obviously that's why we talk about mindset here and self-love and all of that sort of stuff. So Again, you only need to be slightly more secure than the average guy. And the average guy and the average girl are very fucking deeply insecure. Like, again, that just makes them human, and it's okay that they're insecure. It's okay that you are too. You don't have to be a god. Just work on being a tiny bit more secure than you were the day before. Progress, not perfection. Goes on to say some other misconceptions about guys that get laid a lot. They love being single. No. They live totally gratifying lives. No, some of them are depressed. Or they live totally non-gratifying lives and are sociopaths. That's an assumption lots of people will have. They'll almost like slut shame, but for men. They'll be like, there's more to life than just getting laid. And it's like, yeah, I know. I never said that there wasn't. And so a lot of people will almost slut shame men, and they'll definitely slut shame women as well, and be like, your life must suck. There's more to life than just getting laid. It's like, I know, that's why I have hobbies and friends and a business and all of that other stuff. So yeah, that's an assumption. Another assumption is that guys that get laid a lot must be on a conquest mission for self-validation. Not necessarily. Some of them are, yeah. Some of them just like sex. Some of them like to meet people. Some of them, like a couple of my coaching clients in particular at the moment, at like this moment in time, are there literally to learn self-love. Like they're using or they're seeing approaching women and working on that side of themselves as a beautiful opportunity, almost as a playground to work on their own self-improvement. That's like getting laid is the vehicle for their own self-improvement. I have one guy who's literally working on, I would say, enlightenment. He might not phrase it like that, but that's essentially what he's fucking doing. I'm teaching him like Buddhism every single day. I'm teaching him self-love. I'm teaching him to let go of the ego. I'm teaching him like psychology. I'm teaching him everything while he goes out to talk to women. And because he's crushing it. He's talking to like 20 to 30 women a day, like hitting on them properly. Like, you're sexy. Are you single? I'm single too, blah, 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 blah. And because he's doing so many approaches, he has such a beautiful opportunity to practice this self-love stuff, to practice his gratitude, to walk around being a Buddhist monk, trying to make these women's lives better as he hits on them. And so it almost doesn't matter what goal you pick, I guess I would say, make self-improvement the focus. And so just because someone is out there going and having a lot of sex, it doesn't mean they don't care about self-improvement or helping other people have a good life or building the world into a better place. Sex, for some people, is just a vehicle that they're using to do that. Another misconception is that they're not on a conquest mission. Yeah, so some guys are literally just going to try and get notches in their belt. And you're like, will this really make you happy? And they're like, I don't know, but like, I don't know. And they go and have sex with hundreds of women, and they just feel less and less good about themselves because they weren't doing some of the basic stuff that I talk about, which is like being grateful for every woman that you sleep with, trying to leave the women better than you found them because we feel good when we make other people feel good, trying to add to your own life and doing self-improvement. You know, I talk about these basic things, being humble, all of that kind of shit. Another misconception is that they have their shit together or they don't have their shit together. And we covered most of these misconceptions above. But really, most guys that are naturally really successful with women are simply above average looking guys with above average social skills, friends, and a sense of entitlement or confidence, which I would just say replace that with honesty. I wouldn't say have a sense of entitlement. You're not really entitled to anything, but you are certainly entitled to go and take action. They also talk to a lot of girls. Yeah, I make that really fucking clear. If you want to have a lot of sex, talk to a lot of people. Even if you just want one girlfriend, you're going to have to talk to a lot of people. The first girl that you walk up to and talk to, statistically, has a likelihood that she's in a relationship already or is like starting to see someone. Most people aren't single. A lot are. I think it's like 40 or 30% of people are single. I think it's like 40% of people in like 18 to 25 are single. Maybe it's like 30%, whatever. But it's the vast majority of people are in a relationship. And so you're going to have to go and talk to lots of women before you find one who's single and into you. It's actually a bit odd to come across a loner that has a good sex life. You might find a guy like this from time to time. There's plenty of examples of this. Scotty and I are loners to some degree. It's just a bit rare. I'll tell you though, if you are a loner with leadership qualities and individual goals and can get laid, you will never feel lonely. Yeah. In fact, the world is your oyster. Work hard to get those first one or two fuck buddies by any means necessary, and then keep approaching girls during this period. You will truly feel what it is like to not care. You will truly feel what it is like to have fun socially. You may even realize you finally made it. And I would add in, all of you have already made it. It's very easy to say, I haven't made it until I have a lot of sex, and then you feel frustrated, down, sad, all of that. By virtue of even just being alive right now, congratulations, you've already made it. Rare is it to be born. Even rarer still is it to be born a human being. What a gift that is. That's a quote from the Buddha. you've made it. And now we're just adding a little bit more on top. So big shout out to Chris from Good Looking Loser. I have nothing but love for this guy. Absolutely, he changed my life with all of his articles and some of his videos and all of this. I read this stuff years ago. It was like 8 or 9 years ago at this point that I first started my getting laid journey. Almost 10 years now, actually. Getting towards 10 years. And so I am super grateful to him for being one of the, I would say, biggest influences on my sex and dating life. And a lot of my honesty and stuff like that comes from him. He was one of the first people that I ever heard say, go out there and just tell the truth. You find a woman sexy, fucking tell her. Stop wasting time, stop beating around the bush, don't play it safe, go fucking tell her. And if she doesn't like it, hey, that's beautiful, have a great day, go talk to the next woman. And so I'm really, really grateful to him for all of that. And something that I've been doing for a little while now is I will go back years after my coaching clients finish up with me, and I will reach out to them and say, hey, I'm really curious, like what you've been up to, how have you been crushing it, what have you done since you've left the coaching program? And I get some really, really, really cool responses. It is so fun to catch up with people. And so this guy that I interviewed 2.5 years ago at this point, he came to us as a virgin and he ended up obviously losing his virginity, having sex. He did 100 approaches in a week, absolutely crushed it. And here's what he's been up to in the years since. So when did you first sign up for coaching? He signed up April of 2022. What were your 3 biggest achievements or learning lessons since you first signed up for coaching? Number 1, I did my first approach and then 100 in a week not too long after, which was insane. I lost my virginity and I got into and got fairly good at photography, which became a precursor for the 6-figure income I'm going to make next year and multi 6 to 7-figure business I will build over the next few years. And he absolutely will. He shares his Instagram here and he has a real estate photography business now. Look at this. 14.9 thousand followers. He recently put a house on the market. There was like $15 million or something. So he takes like photos of luxury houses and my God, the dude has built this from the ground up. And when he was in the coaching, this is what he was building. We literally helped him get good at photography. And then we dropped the hints of like, do you want to start some sort of like photography business? Because a lot of people end up doing that. And he built this. So absolute legend, amazing. Question number 3, how have the guys in our private Discord group, which is the coaching group that you get to stay in at the end of your coaching? You get to stay in there for free, literally a coaching group for the rest of your life. How has that private Discord group continued to motivate you and support your growth after the coaching has ended? The guys in the Discord are awesome and super supportive. Some are more blunt than some egos can handle, yeah. But when something they say makes me defensive, I know it's because it usually means they have a point. Beautiful. How did the decision to sign up for coaching change your life? Coaching helped me totally flip my dating life, pushed me to do the work to build my confidence, got me to buy a camera, which has been the main piece of gear I've used to grow my business, and he lost his virginity and met some amazing women as well. Where do you think you'd be if you hadn't signed up for coaching? Honestly, not a fucking clue, but I love where I'm at now, so I'm happy that I did. What would you say to someone who's on the fence about signing up for coaching? Easily the greatest single investment in myself that I've ever made. At this point, I've probably spent $40,000 on coaching and clients, and Andy's coaching is by far the one that changed my life the most. Don't get me wrong, my business coaches are phenomenal, and I wouldn't be where I am without them, but I'd still put Andy's coaching as one of the most pivotal decisions I've ever made. Hope you've been good, mate. So beautiful to hear from him. Amazing, super proud of this business that he's built. Really, really, really cool. If you'd like to do what he's done, maybe you want to help a little bit of help losing your virginity. Maybe you want to build an amazing relationship. Maybe you want help building a business like we've helped a hell of a lot of other guys do. Links are down in the description below to the coaching program. Yeah, I don't know what more to say other than holy fuck, I can't believe that this guy went from a virgin to I have a 6 to 7 to 8-figure income. Like, Jesus Christ, this guy's killing it. And he's not the only one. There are so many guys and girls in there killing it. You can join them. You can hang out in the Discord with him. Imagine if you had this guy motivating you and coaching you for the rest of your life, giving you advice, support, love, all of that. Not to mention me and the other coaches. Link in the description. As always, big shout out to Chris. Go out there and crush those goals, ladies and gentlemen.